Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn how to create a simple math game in Scratch. Okay, so at the end of our tutorial, I'll be looking at something like this. Okay, so if I click the green flag, my sprite is going to ask a question. As you can see, it's asking 5 plus 10, that is 15. Okay, so my sprite looks excited. That's another question. 9 plus 3, that's 12. Okay, and another question, 8 plus 4, so I'm going to enter 10. So it is wrong. It doesn't look happy. So basically that's what we are going to look for this tutorial. Okay, that is the part 1. Okay, if you are new, kindly like, subscribe and share. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so as usual, the first thing to do is to delete this sprite. And let's select our sprites. So you are going to use Pico. Okay, so I think Pico is too big. I'm going to reduce the size to 80. Okay, now the next thing to do is to select my backdrop. So you're going to use a chalkboard, which is already here. Position Pico where you want it to be. Okay, now before we can create the math game, we need to create a variable. We're going to use a variable. So a variable is just like a container that stores data. Okay, so you come to variables, you go to make a variable, then you name the first one number 1. You're going to create 2. So the second one, you make a variable again, you name it number 2. Sorry, number 2. Okay, you have number 1 and number 2. We don't want to see them on the screen, so we want to unmark them here so that they can go. Okay, so as usual, we start our game with an event. We want to go to events. We'll start the game with the green flag. When a green flag is clicked. Okay, now at the beginning of the game, we want to set our variables to 0. So you come to variables, you see set my variable here, where you set your variable to number 1. So you select the number 1 and the number 2. Okay, you set them to 0. Okay, now we want to create a game for numbers between 1 and 10. Okay, so now we set our variables to 0, but we want to set them to pick a random number between 1 and 10, or from 1 to 10. If you want to do that, we come to operators. Here we can see pick random 1 to 10. The 1 to 10 is already there, so we just put it there for the 2 of them. Okay, so now we've stored a data in number 1 and number 2. That's pick random from 1 to 10. Okay, now the next thing to do is to ask a question. Okay, so we want our sprite to ask a question. So you can come to sensing. Okay, so ask is in sensing. So you say ask, or your sprite can ask any question. So we said, what's your name and wait. Okay, what's your name and wait. So we want our sprite to ask, what is number 1 plus number 2, the variables that we've created. If we want to do that, then we have to concatenate. That means you have to join what we want to say. So we come to operators, then you can see join here, join apple, banana. Okay, so we can use that to concatenate. You can use like 3 of them. Good. So we have apple, banana. Fine. Okay, so we edit this where we write what is. Okay, what is. Then we go to our variable, where we pick the number 1 that we've created. We put it there. So this is what is number 1. Then you put your operation here, that is plus. Then we come to our variable again, then we pick number 2. So what is number 1 plus number 2? Okay, let's try that and see. So I click the green flag. You can see it said what is 5 plus 4. So it means that for number 1 it picked 5 and number 2 picked 4 randomly. Okay, now when you see this, you see that the hot is close to what? Number 1, which is the 5. Okay, so what can we do? After writing the hot is, we need to give a space. So you click space bar, tap on space bar to give a space there. So you click on that, you can see what is 6 plus 7. Okay, so anytime we click the green flag, it picks a number randomly for number 1 and number 2. Okay, so now we've asked our question. Good. Now we don't want to keep on clicking the green flag, so we go to control, where we can repeat that automatically. So you can go repeat until we put it there. We click the green flag, we're going to ask the question. That's 9 plus 7. Can enter the answer. Then need to ask another one. Okay, like that. Good. Okay, now we've asked our question. Okay, what do we want to happen if we ask our question? Okay, so now if we ask the question and our sprite, we give the answer, we want our sprite to react to the answer. Okay, so in Scratch, anytime you ask a question and you answer it, it's stored in Senzin. When you come here, the answer here is stored here. Okay, so we want to go to control, where we pick our if statement, if or else. Okay, we want to say that if the answer that we are going to enter is equal to number 1 plus number 2, then our sprite should say correct. Okay, so we go to if, then we come to our operators. That's why we get the equal to. You can see we have equal to 50 here. We put it there. Now we want to ask if number 1, if answer is equal to number 1 plus number 2. So we go for addition here, where we put it here. Okay, then we go back to Senzin, where our answer will be stored in this block, this answer block here. We put it here. Then we go to our variables, where we can pick our number 1. Sorry, where we can pick our number 1 and number 2. Good. So if answer is equal to number 1 plus number 2, we want our sprite to say correct. That's in looks. Your sprite to say something, you go to looks. Okay, so you can see say hello for 2 seconds and say hello, that. So we want our sprite to say correct for 2 seconds. So we edit this correct and bring this sign. So if we give the answer and the answer is correct, our sprite to say correct for 2 seconds. Else means that if it's not correct, so we can duplicate this, or we can just take another one from here. So if the answer is not correct, we want our sprite to say wrong for 2 seconds. Okay, let's try that and see. So when the green flag is clicked, 5 plus 1 is 6, correct. Okay, 6 plus 6 is 12, correct. Okay, so I'm going to enter a wrong answer and see what will happen. So 8 plus 2, I'll enter 9. Is wrong. Okay, we have achieved that. Okay, so but then the sprite that we selected has costumes. Okay, so when you see Pico here, okay, you can go to costumes here. It has different appearances. There's different appearances. That's the costumes. So you can see. Okay, now if we want our sprite to get excited, looks like it's excited when you get the answer right. Okay, so you can see Pico C looks like he's excited. Okay, and Pico B looks like he's talking. Okay, so we want to use B and C. Okay, so we go back to our code. Now here, after saying correct, we go to looks, where we switch the costume. Okay, so first, before it says correct, we switch the costume to D. That is the one that looks exciting. Then we switch it back to B. Then for okay, so that's C. This is C. Then for the wrong, we want to switch the costume to D. Yeah, that's D. And then switch it back to B as I saying wrong, because when it's done getting angry or whatever, it's going to still ask the question again. Okay, so let's try that and see. Okay, said 1 plus 7. Okay, so we want to enter the answer 8. So correct. You can see it looks excited. 9 plus 10. We want to enter the answer. Okay, so let me enter it 12. That's the wrong answer. Let's see what will happen. You can see he's not happy. Okay, so that's basically our math game. Okay, we are going to do a lot of things, including score and all that in part 2. Thank you for watching. Please kindly subscribe.